A new world, just gotta let it be. To have a girl like her.
And I'm from Alabama, and he's from Michigan, and maybe people out of Michigan, Alabama, are not supposed to talk back. I'm just not the kind of guy that, well, brown nose. I say what I think I should say.
As Eddie was coming over the fence, the young lady pulled back, and Eddie managed to break her away from her grasp. But he came into the dressing room butt cheeks out, pants hanging all off his behind.
So obviously, the Temptations had issues. The constant lineup reshuffle is a dead giveaway. But Eddie Kendricks really couldn't stand Otis Williams. And Eddie was brutally honest to a fault. If you could ask him, he'd probably say that's why issues arose with him and different people. From his frustration over Otis' full-on control mode of the group's freedom in music style.
And when you are a group, you have to move and think as one unit. You cannot have 5 guys going, 5 different directions.
To filing a lawsuit against label boss Gordy over contracts and management issues.
Gordy is a man I do not know. I only met him about 3 times. I really don't know anything about him. I just know he didn't particularly care for me.
Eddie was quite the personality. Let's dive in.
A new world, just gotta let it be.
So Eddie had issues with Otis, who was also a founding member of the Temptations.
Otis had Otis Williams in the distance.
That's right.
And then I brought a half and he brought a half.
Okay. That's what...
Otis had stayed with the group for many years and was seen as the leader.
That cracked the whip and
Johnny
said...
Mae Matthews put that yoke on my back a long time ago. It wasn't anything that I said, hey, I'm going to be the leader. It was a thing when she would call a meeting, I would always be there like 5 minutes or so earlier. And so she, I guess, recognized that.
He made big decisions and guided the group's direction. Some members respected him for his leadership, but others found his style too controlling. He wanted things done a certain way, and he expected everyone to follow his rules. But Eddie had his own ideas about how things should be.
Paul and I was just much better than them too, so yeah, we was the lead singers and they were the background guys.
That's right.
Eddie had a smooth and high singing voice that fans loved. Many of the group's big hits featured his voice. The tension between Otis and Eddie grew over time. Eddie felt that Otis had too much power and did not listen to other members enough. He wanted the Temptations to explore different styles of music. He also believed that he should have more control over his own career. But Otis wanted to keep things the way they were. He believed that his leadership kept the group successful. He thought too many changes could hurt their success. This difference in opinion made it hard for them to work together. Eddie became more frustrated. He saw other artists getting more freedom in their careers, and he wanted the same. He was a major part of the Temptations' success, but he felt that he was not getting enough respect.
Eddie was a definite part of the background harmony, but then his falsetto, record by record, just seemed to take on an added significance, and he really did give the falsetto voicings with the Temptations a lot of...
He believed that he had the talent to succeed on his own. He started thinking about leaving the group. The other members noticed the tension, and it created a difficult atmosphere. Some agreed with Eddie, while others sided with Otis.
I'm just not the kind of guy that, well, brown nose. I say what I think I should.
Eddie felt like he was not getting the respect he deserved. He wanted better songs that fit his voice, and he wanted more recognition. But Motown's management, led by Gordy, had different ideas. They made decisions for the group as a whole, often ignoring what individual members wanted. Eddie did not like that.
Gordy is a man I do not know. I only met him about 3 times. I really don't know anything about him. I just know he didn't particularly care for me.
Motown was a strict company. Gordy controlled almost everything. He told artists how to dress, how to act, and even what songs to sing. Some artists followed his rules without question, but Eddie was different. He grew up in Alabama, where people stood up for themselves.
And I'm from Alabama, and he's from Michigan, and maybe people out of Michigan, I mean Alabama, are not supposed to talk back. But when I leave Alabama, that's all they tell you, not to talk back. So when I leave, I intend to speak.
He was not afraid to speak his mind, and he did not like being told what to do all the time. He wanted to have more freedom as an artist. He wanted to make decisions about his own career. This attitude caused problems between him and Gordy.
He didn't really have a lot to do for us, because we already kind of knew where we were going or what we wanted. We knew we wanted to record. We knew we already could perform, and that is what we did.
Eddie and Berry Gordy never had a close relationship. Eddie said he did not know Gordy very well, but he could tell that Gordy did not like him. The reason was simple. Eddie did not just go along with whatever Gordy said. He questioned things. He wanted to have a say in the music he made. He was not afraid to speak up when something didn't feel right.
I'm just not the kind of guy that, well, Brown knows. I say what I think I should.
This led to tension. Eddie felt like he was being pushed aside. He believed he was not getting the best songs. He also thought other members of the Temptations, especially Otis Williams, were being favored. He felt like his role in the group was shrinking, and he didn't like it. Otis was focused on keeping the group together and following Motown's rules. Eddie, on the other hand, wanted to focus on the vocal style and the artistic side of the music. He cared deeply about how the group sounded. He wanted their songs to have more vocal arrangements that highlighted his soft, high voice. But Otis was more concerned about following Motown's plans and making sure the group stayed popular. This led to disagreements. Eddie wanted to push the group in one direction, while Otis wanted to keep things the way they were. The conflict between Eddie and Otis grew over time. Eddie felt like his voice was being drowned out, both in the music and in decisions about the group. He believed that his opinions didn't matter as much as they should have. This made him frustrated. The more he spoke up, the more he clashed with the group and with Motown's management. For Eddie, this was not just about fame or money. It was about respect. He wanted to have control over his own career. He wanted to make choices that fit his artistic vision. But at Motown, that was not always possible. Berry Gordy had built the company from the ground up, and he expected everyone to follow his lead. If an artist didn't like how things were run, they had two choices: stay and follow the rules, or leave and take a risk on their own. He became so unhappy and started thinking about leaving. In 1971, he finally made the decision to go solo. A lot of things led to Kendricks leaving. One big reason was the firing of David Ruffin. Ruffin and Kendricks were close friends.
You did a pretty good job.
Okay.
It's a feeling of expression, really. That's.
And when Ruffin was kicked out, Kendricks started to feel distant from the group. At the same time, another member, Paul Williams, was having serious health problems. Eddie saw his group changing, and he did not like it. He also argued a lot with Otis Williams and Melvin Franklin. Sometimes, the fights even got physical. Eddie also did not like the new type of music they were singing. He loved the slow love songs they did before, but now the Temptations were making music with strange sounds. He did not feel comfortable with it. Kendricks started spending more time with Ruffin again. Ruffin told him he should go solo and take control of his own music. Kendricks agreed. He also believed that Motown was not giving them all the money they deserved. He felt like they were being cheated. This made him even more frustrated. He also kept telling the group they should bring Ruffin back, but the others refused. They did not want Ruffin in the group again.
Okay, my question is to Otis. Why was David Ruffin fired from the Temptations?
Kendricks did not like that decision. In 1970, Kendricks tried to convince the group to stop working until Motown showed them all their financial records. He wanted to bring in independent accountants to check if they were getting paid fairly. But Otis Williams and Melvin Franklin did not agree with him. They thought it was a bad idea. This disagreement caused more fights inside the group. The tension kept growing, and it was clear that Kendricks was unhappy.
Jack, and when you are a group, you have to move and think as one unit. You cannot have five guys going, 5 different directions.
In November 1970, the Temptations were performing at the Copacabana Club. During the show, Kendricks had another big argument with Otis and Melvin. He became so angry that he walked out in the middle of the night. He did not return for the next show. After that, he and Otis agreed that he would leave the group for good. Later, Kendricks said he had actually thought about leaving years before. Since 1965, he had wanted to make a solo album, but the group never allowed him to do it while staying in the Temptations. Before Kendricks officially left, he recorded one last song with the group. He and Paul Williams sang the lead vocals for Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me.
To have a girl like her.
This was a slow love song, the kind of music Kendricks loved. The song was included in their album, Sky's the Limit. In January 1971, Just My Imagination was released as a single. It became a huge hit. 2 months later, it reached #1 on the US pop charts. By the time the song became a big success, Kendricks had already left the group. He had signed a deal with Motown's Tamla label to start his solo career. After Kendricks left, the Temptations needed a new member. They hired Ricky Owens from a group called The Vibrations. But Owens only lasted for 3 shows. He was too nervous and kept forgetting the lyrics during performances. Because of this, they fired him quickly. For a few weeks in 1971, the Temptations had only 4 members. Owens went back to his old group, and years later, in 1996, he passed away at the age of 57. With Kendricks gone, the Temptations had to adjust. Their producer, Norman Whitfield, re-recorded It's Summer,
I can just feel that soft summer breeze.
which was originally the B-side of Ball of Confusion, That's What the World Is Today. He made this the group's next single. Another song, Smiling Faces. Sometimes
Smiling faces show no traces.
was not given to the Temptations. Instead, it was recorded by another group, The Undisputed Truth. This song became a top 5 hit on the Billboard charts. Meanwhile, It's Summer did not do as well. It only reached number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100. This was disappointing because the Temptations had always been successful, and it was the first time in 8 years that one of their songs failed to reach the top 40. Otis Williams was deeply hurt by Eddie's departure.
Jack, and when you are a group, you have to move and think as one unit. You cannot have 5 guys going, 5 different directions.
Otis believed Eddie was a big reason for the group's success, and he had hoped things would turn out differently. But Eddie had made up his mind. He wanted to sing on his own and no longer be part of the group's struggles. Otis saw Eddie's decision as a betrayal, while Eddie felt he had no other choice. The two men still respected each other's talents, but their friendship was never the same. Over the years, there were moments when Eddie and Otis reconnected. Sometimes Eddie performed with his former bandmates, and for brief moments, it seemed like old times. But the tension was always there. There were deep wounds that never fully healed. They were both strong-minded and had different ideas about how things should be. Their problems were never fully resolved, but as time passed, they both understood that what they had built together was special. The Temptations faced many struggles beyond Eddie's departure. Other members also left, some because of personal issues, others due to disagreements. Paul Williams, a founding member, battled depression and tragically died in 1973. Later, Melvin Franklin, a longtime member, passed away from a brain seizure in 1995. By that time, Otis was the last original member still standing. The group that had once been full of energy and talent had changed completely. The deaths of his former bandmates deeply affected Otis. He wished things had been different, but he knew that life moves forward. The Temptations made music that lifted people's spirits, but behind the scenes, there was pain, loss, and conflict. Otis often reflected on why things had turned out this way. He believed success tested people and revealed who they really were. He regretted that the group could not stay united. He wished they had found a way to overcome their differences. He lost many close friends along the way, and it was painful to see how things ended for them. But he also knew that change is part of life. Even with all the struggles, Otis continued to honor the legacy of the Temptations. He believed he had a duty to carry on their music. He saw himself as the last one left to keep their spirit alive. He often thanked God for his long career and good health. He had been through a lot, but he kept going. Even after so much loss, their impact on the world of music would never be forgotten. Even though Eddie was successful in music, he had a lot of money problems. These issues followed him for many years and caused him trouble with the law. In 1991, Kendricks went to Detroit for the funeral of his friend and former bandmate, David Ruffin. He was one of the pallbearers helping carry Ruffin's casket. But after the funeral, police arrested him. The reason was that he had not paid $26,000 in child support. This shocked many people because he had been a famous singer. People wondered how someone so well known could struggle with money. Kendricks had been ordered to pay child support after his divorce from Patricia Kendricks in 1975. The court told him to pay $25,000 plus regular payments for their son, but he did not keep up with the payments. In 1982, a judge warned him that he would go to jail if he did not pay. After that, he paid $5,000, but he still owed more. This problem followed him for years. Kendricks also had money disputes with Motown Records, like I said earlier. He thought the group should be getting more royalties for their hit songs. He asked for an audit to check the financial records, but Motown did not agree. Some members of the Temptations also did not support him in this fight. He felt that the company was keeping money from him and the group. In 1992, he decided to take legal action. He sued Motown Records, saying that they had been holding back his royalty payments. He also said they refused to show him the financial records he had asked for. He wanted to know how much money the group had made and what he was owed. The lawsuit was a result of years of frustration. He felt that Motown had been unfair to him and other artists. Many singers had complained that record labels took advantage of them, and Kendricks believed he was one of those artists. Kendricks' issues with Motown went back many years. He first signed with the label in 1961 when he joined the Temptations.
Because we rehearsed on our own, we dressed our own selves, so we didn't fall in the category of being taught or how to look, how to dress, how to do this. We already knew how to do it.
He stayed with them for a long time, helping to make the group successful. He had many hit songs and became famous, but he always had concerns about money. He wanted Motown to honor his contract and give him what he deserved. He tried to negotiate with the company, but nothing changed. In 1982, Motown planned a big reunion for the Temptations. The group had gone through many changes over the years. Some members had left and new ones had joined. By then, Louis Price had left the group and Dennis Edwards returned. Motown's founder, Berry Gordy, helped write and produce a song for them called Power. The song did well on the R&B charts, reaching number 11, but it was not a big hit. Over the next 2 years, the group released more songs, but none became huge hits. Motown decided to reunite the original members to bring excitement back to the group. Kendricks and Ruffin agreed to come back for the reunion album and tour. Rick James, a popular funk singer, helped produce the album. He had worked with the Temptations before, using them as background singers on his song Super Freak. He wrote and produced Standing on the Top, the lead single for the reunion album. The song became popular and reached number 6 on the R&B charts. People were excited to see the original members performing together again. The reunion tour was successful, But it was not easy. Kendricks had been a heavy smoker for years, and it had damaged his voice. Ruffin was struggling with drug addiction and missed many performances. Other members like Dennis Edwards and Glenn Leonard also caused problems. The tour was stressful, and in the end, Kendricks and Ruffin were let go. After that, they decided to perform together as a duo. Now let's talk about Diana Ross and Eddie's relationship. Many people do not know this, but their connection started long before they joined Motown. Some say they were in love even before Motown became a big name in music. But love can be complicated, and things did not stay simple between them. Eddie later married someone else, but some believe Diana still had feelings for him. It was not easy for her to let go. Some say her emotions for Eddie caused problems between him and Berry Gordy, the man behind Motown. Gordy was not just Eddie's boss. He also had a close relationship with Diana. This created a difficult situation. One night, things got out of hand. Diana reportedly smashed Eddie's window because he refused to go out with her. Imagine that. One of the biggest stars in music breaking a window over a man. This showed how deep her feelings were. It also made things awkward for Eddie. People started talking, and it may have added more tension between him and Gordy. Berry Gordy had been a mentor to Diana. He also had a romantic history with her. When he found out about Diana and Eddie's past, it might have made him upset. Maybe he felt jealous, or maybe he was just frustrated. No one can say for sure, but it is clear that their relationships were not just about music. Personal feelings played a big role too.
This past week, the music world lost another great. The legendary Eddie Kendricks, co-founder of The Temptations, passed away from lung cancer at the age of 52.
Back to his collaboration with David Ruffin. Eddie stayed focused on his music. In 1985, he performed with David Ruffin at the Apollo Theater. They joined Hall and Oates on stage, singing classic Temptations songs. The crowd loved it, and their medley of The Way You Do the Things You Do and My Girl became a hit. It reached number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. People still loved their voices, and the performance even earned them a Grammy nomination. In 1989, Eddie, Ruffin, and their fellow Temptations bandmates were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
We thank the Lord Jesus Christ for helping us do a great job and coming into the Hall of Fame. And I'll let the rest of the guys speak for themselves.
This was a huge honor. Eddie, Ruffin, and Dennis Edwards started planning a new tour together. They wanted to perform as Ruffin Kendrick Edwards, former leads of the Temptations. But life had other plans. In 1991, Ruffin passed away due to a drug overdose. Around the same time, Eddie found out he had lung cancer. Even though he was sick, he kept performing. Eddie had surgery in late 1991 to remove one of his lungs. He hoped this would stop the cancer from spreading. He believed smoking for 30 years had caused his illness. Even after surgery, he continued to sing. He performed through the summer of 1992, but his health got worse. He was hospitalized, and on October 5, 1992, he passed away at the age of 52. His funeral was held in his hometown of Birmingham, Alabama. Many fans and friends came to say goodbye. His 3 children, Paris, Aka, and Paul, survived him. After his passing, people honored him with concerts. Famous singers like Chaka Khan, Mary Wilson, and Bobby Womack performed in his memory. Eddie was a legend. He was nominated for 4 Grammy Awards and won one with the Temptations for Cloud 9 in 1969. In 2013, the Temptations received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Years later, in 1998, NBC made a TV miniseries about the group. Actor Taryn Brooks played Eddie in the show, keeping his memory alive. Eddie's story was full of love, music, and struggles. His career proved he was a true talent. Even after his death, people still remember his voice and the music he left behind.